Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all settled into the new year. In today's episode of Testing Your Tactics, we have another wonderful tactic to test from GYR, this time the Dynamite tactic. Let's hit the intro and let's get into the episode. I think this may be the third or the fourth tactic that I've done on the channel, and they never cease to amaze. He's a very good tactic creator, so well done GYR with this. Now we're going to go into the challenge. We've got 3 to go through. We're going to go with Lyon, Chelsea and Fiorentina. I'm trying to mix up the leagues a little bit and not just stick to the Premier League football. Now, as always, with this challenge, we're going to go on holiday for the season. Our assistant manager is going to play the tactic that we are testing. We're going to have no coaching badges, no past experience, and the transfer window is going to be closed as well. Now, if you haven't already, subscribe. You're doing fantastic so far. Started the year very well, so help me out. Hit the button down below and also the like button as well if you find this episode useful. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. Let's get into the tactical overview. So now a quick overview of the tactic. We have GYR Dynamite FM24 loaded in. Tactical style is Dynamite. Sure it is. Mentality is attacking. In possession, it's a fairly wide attacking width with passing to space, shorter passing directness and higher tempo as well. We've run at the defence selected also. In transition, counter press and counter. We've roll it out as a distribution style or type. And then out of possession, it's a higher line of engagement with a high defensive line as well. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution, trigger press much more often, and get stuck in as well. And if we have a look kind of at the roles and the club itself, so sweeper keeper on support, instructions are just shorter passing directness there. Complete wing back on support on the left hand side. Instructions are balance trigger press, stay wider and get further forward, tackle harder, shorter passing, cross less often, take more risks and dribble more as well. So quite an attacking, even though it's a support, quite an attacking instructions there for the complete wing back. On the right hand side, it's a wing back on attack, balance press with tackle harder, sit narrower and get further forward, shorter passing, cross less often with dribble more and take more risks as well. 2 central defenders, 1 a ball playing defender on the left hand side, and that is trigger press as balanced, tackle harder, shorter passing and to dribble more as well. And then the centre defender on defend, we have the instructions of balance trigger press, tackle harder and shorter passing. Everything else has been left as a default. Now, just behind the back 4, well, just in front I should say, a defensive midfielder on defend, balance press, tackle harder, shorter passing and take fewer risks has been selected here. Not ball winning midfielder, a box to box midfielder on support. Trigger press less often, tackle harder, move into channels and shorter passing. Everything else has been left as a default here. A Mazzala on attack on the right side of the centre midfielders. Trigger press less often with get further forward and stay wider as well. Tackle harder and shorter passing has been selected. Right hand side we have an inside forward on support. Instructions are trigger press less often, get further forward, cut inside with the ball as well with shorter passing. Everything else on default. And on the right hand side an inverted winger on attack. Trigger press less often, sit narrower and get further forward, cut inside with the ball, and shorter passing with taking more risks. Everything else as a default. Nearly out of breath, but at the end it's the attacking forward on attack, trigger press less often, tackle harder, shorter passing, and shoot less often as well. Interesting one there, but we'll see how we get on. Now the first test is with Lyon. Their media prediction is to finish in 9th place. Let's load up the tactic, let's go on holiday, and let's see if we can do better. And a really nice achievement here for Lyon. Finished 5th in the league. That's 4 places higher than their media prediction, but they're actually joint kind of points with OGC Nice. And yeah, a little bit disappointing that goal difference kind of left us out of the top 4, but a fantastic achievement nonetheless. So 20 wins, only 2 draws in the whole season, but 12 losses as well, which has kind of slightly let us down. But if we have a look at the kind of the league as a whole, we've got a plus 12 goal difference with 62 points, as I mentioned. So player stats, we have Alexander Lacazette, second with 20 goals across the league. Average rating, as expected, Paris Saint-Germain's players have dominated this. In the assists, we're not involved there either. But if we have a look at kind of the team overview, we finished third with the amount of goals scored, which is 63 across the season, with 6 from corners as well. Most shots for, fourth here, 448. Fewest shots against, we had kind of the 6th strongest defence with 321. Best pass completion, we're not here. Most possession, we are, however, 54% average across the season, which is very nice to see with Leon. Not involved with the most tackles won, but most dribbles made. We're sick for this one as well. So we're consistently in the top 8 for the stats here. Most clean sheets, however, we're not involved there, nor in the fewest conceded. So even though we had the fewest shots against us, well, 6 fewest shots against us, we kind of conceded the goals that came at us, which potentially is on the goalkeeper there. Now, if we have a look at the pass positions, how did we kind of perform with Leon? Now, it's actually quite grim reading looking at this. So, kind of started off with a draw against Strasbourg, but then lost to Montpellier. And we actually dropped to 14th as the lowest point there. But we pulled ourselves back up, and highs of kind of 4th. We hit there a couple of times, but inevitably we stayed in 5th place due to the goal difference that's there. In the competitions as well, was knocked out in the 11th round to, I can't even pronounce this, Association Sportive Beauvoir OE? No idea. Where did we actually finish? Not even in the 11th round. I mean, that's pretty poor. Let's move past that one. If we have a look at the schedule, any big wins or any big losses in the league on Uber Eats? Now, against Paris Saint-Germain, we only lost 1-0 here, but we lost 4-1 to Marseille, which is a bit of a battering. 4-1 to Monaco as well. And then a 5-1 down here to FC Lorient. And then PSG, we only lost 2-1 to them. So against kind of the big club of Paris Saint-Germain, we kind of held our own a little bit. There's a good selection of wins here, but too many draws in overall. And if you have a look at the squad, now we have Alexander Lacazette, as I mentioned, with 20 goals and 2 assists in 29 appearances. Ernest Nemois with 8 goals and 6 assists. And then Maitland-Niles with 6 goals and 5. So Alexander Lacazette kind of dominated from a midfield point of view, a striker point of view. But the attacking positions, they could have done a lot better to kind of help him out. 6 assists, 5 assists, 8 goals and 6 goals isn't great, but that's probably more down to the team than it is down to the tactic. But anyway, let's get into the next test. Now, the next test is going to be Chelsea. Their media prediction is to finish in 6th place. Can we do any better? Let's find out. Now, again, we have gone one better. From our media prediction, we have finished in 5th place. Although looking at the kind of the table, we're only 2 points away from 4th place as well. Now, with Chelsea, whenever I've kind of done my tactics test, bar a couple, I always seem to get sacked. So staying the whole season as Chelsea manager seems to be, it's a good achievement so far. But let's have a look at how we got on. 22 wins across the season, 9 draws and 7 losses. Now, the 7 losses is actually pretty decent. The 9 draws is probably too many, but we'll have a look at kind of how they went into. I mean, we drew to Luton, drew to Fulham, drew to Bournemouth and Everton and Wolves. Now, if you change any of those up, we're definitely challenging up the top of the table. But anyway, we got a plus goal difference of 52, which is 2nd best in the league, only behind Manchester City, and also 75 points, as I mentioned. So if I look at the league in an overview, so Nkunku with 21 goals, 2nd in the Premier League. Nkunku, 2nd highest average rating, 7.50. And Nkunku, 3rd with 12 assists as well. And 6th player of the matches, becoming in 2nd there. So a very strong season for Nkunku. Seems to kind of enjoy the system and the tactic. So most goals for Chelsea, 82 across the season, with 7 coming from corners. But if you look at Manchester City, I mean, they got 17 goals more than us, but 14 of those were from corners as well. Most shots for, 3rd in this, 534. Most shots against, 3rd with 262. Should be fewest shots against, sorry. Best pass completion, we're not there, but possession are we? And we are. 53% average possession in the top 8 here. Most tackles won, not there. Most dribbles made, with 7th with 634. Most clean sheets, we are 7th here with 13 across the season. And 2nd joint, fewest conceded with 30 as well. So looking at all the stats, they performed quite well there, Chelsea, especially Nkunku. But let's see how we got on with the pass positions. And it's actually quite a bad start looking at this. Languishing in 15th, rising up to 12th, before eventually staying in the top 7. And yeah, we only really peaked up at 4th once, but then dropped down into 5th. And let's see kind of how we got on in, you know what, let's have a look at other competitions as well. The Friendly Cup, we won it. It's what everyone wants to win, the Friendly Cup. So well done, Chelsea, for that one. English FA Cup, knocked out in the 5th round to Arsenal. A London derby, that's going to be quite tough to take, who actually went on to win the FA Cup as well. Carabao Cup, knocked out in the quarterfinal to Leeds, but Liverpool won that overall. So looking at the schedule for the Premier Division, obviously no European football for Chelsea in the first season. Now, I mean, we lost to Burnley, that's poor. Lost to Liverpool 3-1. Lost to Brentford 2-1. So there's some of these results here that you kind of wouldn't really expect. A couple of draws, probably too many throughout the whole season, but, you know, lost 1-0 to Brighton. But then, to be fair, from the new year, we only lost 1 game and drew 3. So fantastic second half of the season. We beat Sheffield United 7-0 and also West Ham 6-0 as well. So yeah, there's some goals in this one. A lot of a better test than against Lyon. But if you have a look at the squads, did anyone else help out Nkunku? Well, not Lukaku. We can't count Lukaku. Let's move him to the under 18s. Let's annoy him a little bit. So Nkunku with 23 goals and 14 assists across the whole season. Nanu Madueke got 14 goals and 7 assists. Raheem Sterling and Enzo Fernandez both getting 11. So a lot more support from this one. As we can see between the Lyon team and the Chelsea team, there's more quality in Chelsea. And it's kind of showing across kind of the stats there and just how the team has performed as a whole. But anyway, we've got one more test to make. Let's get into it. Now the final test is with Fiorentina. Media prediction is finishing 8th. Anything can happen in this area. Let's find out. And this time we've absolutely smashed our media prediction of 8th. We're finishing 4th. Champions League places for Fiorentina. This time we're level on points with 5th place, but we got the go ahead with this. 22 wins, 5 draws, and 11 losses across the season. Let's kind of see how we got on compared to the other teams. So none of our players are in the top 3 for the player stats there. But in regards to the team overview, most goals for, we scored the most in the league with 72. Most shots for was top with this one as well with 579. Second for fewest shots against, but pass completion at most possession. First time for most possession in this test that we haven't been there. Most tackles won, we're not there, but we're second in the league for most dribbles made in a game, or across the season I should say. 6th joint for most clean sheets, and 6th joint for fewest conceded as well. Now how do we kind of get on as a past position? You know, good start. We beat Brianza 4-1, but then dropped down to 7th with a 3-2 loss to Udinese. And looking at this, was kind of top of the season, top of the table, I should say, for the majority of the season, before eventually dropping down and cementing ourselves into 4th place as well. In the other competitions, how do we get on? We beat Aston Villa 2-0 in the Europa Conference League to win that. Now, looking at the game, how do we get on with this? So 20 shots, 10 on target, an XG of 2.46. So we hit our XG, and to be fair, I don't think Villa stood a chance really with how we did play. So well done to the guys. Dominated in midfield with the 2 here, and also a good defensive backline with the goalkeeper on a 7.4. So can't complain too much. In the Italian Cup, knocked out in the 3rd round to Torino, but we won the Italian Super Cup as well. I'm sure that's like a Community Shield or something potentially. Now, looking at kind of how we get on with the scheduling, as I mentioned, good start against a 4-1 win against Brienza, but then lost to Udinese. But barring kind of one loss to Napoli in that, we won a lot of games in this season, especially in the first half, which probably explains why we were top for such a long time. Brianza, we beat them 6-0, beat Juventus 4-0 as well. Crazy victory that is. But then a couple of bad losses here. Empoli, Cagliari, Torino. And we lost 3 on the bounce to AC Milan, Atalanta and Salernitana to kind of cement us into 4th place. But if we'd have won those last 3, which maybe we take 6 points off Atalanta and Salernitana, then we probably could have comfortably been in 3rd place or even 2nd place. Looking at how the squad did perform, we have 23 goals and 3 assists for Lucas Beltran. Nicolas Gonzalez with 20 goals, 10 assists. Ricardo Sotil, 14 and 9. Bonaventura The old statesman, 34 years of age, had the season of his life, 14 goals, 14 assists. Hosty Brechello with 7 goals and 13 assists. So a very nice kind of way to end off the test. Now, Eagle Eye viewers may notice that the stats were already available. That is because I've already recorded this once. I was on mute stupidly, but yeah, not to be stupid anymore. Would I use this tactic going forward? Definitely. GYR has made another fantastic tactic, especially looking at the Chelsea result. The fact that even though, yeah, we kind of matched our media prediction or beat it by 1 place, Nkunku had a fantastic season. And as you saw when you compare it to the Lyon one, a better team, you're going to get better results. And Fiorentina, you know, winning the Europa Conference League against a strong Aston Villa team as well. Very nice to see. Now, if you have enjoyed this video of testing your tactics, let me know down below if you have a tactic that you want me to test. Check out these videos as well, and I'll see you on another episode. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.